Are you truly lost, or are you simply not allowing your own light to guide you home? The path of searching for the answer to the feeling of longing is a long and winding one, oftentimes leading you to places that you've never been, people you never would have met otherwise, and incredible experiences of joy and connection and liberation that can feel like a giant exhale after years of feeling isolated and alone. But what happens when those experiences begin to feel heavy and the discomfort that led you there begins to resurface? The spiritual journey is one of many ups and downs, realizations and discoveries, breakthroughs and breakdowns, all in the name of self-exploration. It's a beautiful process of calling into question everything you've once known in exchange for the unknown instead. But oftentimes it can create feelings of yearning for something more. And it's very natural to go seeking for the answers to why, and in doing so, uncover more questions. And eventually, it can feel like the search for the answers begins to take you in circles until you feel tired of the never ending process of traversing a path to a destination that doesn't satisfy. But what if that's the point? What if the path that you're meant to walk isn't one that can be found? What if it's felt instead? What if the reason for your exhaustion with seeking is the very answer you need to create the peace you're desiring to feel? And what if the peace you're desiring is only found inside? Hi, I'm Amanda Blau. I'm a coach, a channel, and a student of human nature and consciousness. And welcome to the Home Podcast. This is going to be a series of 3 episodes where we're going to delve into the nature of your soul's desire for this experience, this human reality, and the fascinating nature of your human desire to escape it and you. Within this spiritual space, we're always searching for answers, for guidance, and for ways to create the peace that we're seeking to feel. And we do this through manifestation techniques, learning to channel spirits, receiving energy healing, getting tarot and psychic and astrology readings. And all of those things are incredible ways of learning to better understand you and your life path and the answers to the longing that you feel. But what happens when the longing never really goes away? How much seeking and searching and navigating and uncovering is required in order to feel peace? And what if all of those methods at accessing it have led you back here, seeking once more for a reason? What if you've been led back here to show you that what you're seeking is you? And that the only way to fully and unconditionally feel differently within you is to simply allow you to. This series is a collaboration between myself, my higher self, and the very consciousness of this podcast to bring forward a message for those who are ready to walk a different path, the path in towards everything you've been seeking and the power and potential of creation itself that's been waiting to be accessed and realized within you. This is a series for those who want to bear witness to their own divinity and feel alive inside of it. This is a series for those who are ready to redefine who they believe they are in order to feel who they desire to be instead. This is a series for those who've been walking their path for a long time and feeling lost along the way and are ready to finally feel found. This is a series for dreamers and for those who are ready to change their focus from everything that has been to everything that could be. Allow this volume of episodes to guide you in to the very nature of your soul's essence, who you've become as a byproduct of your belief systems about you, and what could become of you if you gave yourself permission to dream bigger. Please enjoy. Part 1, why you come here. Souls that are looking to have a human experience are desiring everything that's available to them inside of it. They want to experience what it's like to feel a sense of hope, of peace, of restlessness, of aggravation, of heartache. They want more than anything else to feel alive and also know that it comes with a cost. The cost of the pain associated with the only experience imaginable that can challenge and shape the very nature of the soul that experiences it. Each soul that comes here knows coming in that they're getting ready for the trip of a lifetime and that they will have the opportunity to be whoever they desire to be. But first, they must forget who they are. They must forget the very essence of their divine nature, because in forgetting, they get to experience life through a completely different lens, the lens of whoever it is they choose to be. And this can oftentimes come with a lot of confusion for those of us who begin to remember, because we remember that there's something else available for us here. We remember that there's more to the story than we're being told, but we aren't quite sure how to access that knowing and what to do when we can't seem to get there fast enough. Because remembering that there's something more, but not quite knowing how to get there, how to know for sure that we're on our way to getting there, and also how to feel the potential we're being told we have access to is extremely frustrating. So we spend the next few years, decades, lifetime maybe, trying to figure it out and trying to get to the bottom of our longing. A longing for something that we aren't even sure of, but we just know that we feel deeply. What if I told you that it was designed this way for a reason? What if I told you that the longing you feel is there to keep you going, so that you continue to uncover the nature of who you are? Because who you are and who you believe that you are not only different, but the exact reason for your frustration. And this is the conversation I'd like to get into first. Why you feel so frustrated inside of your humanness and how to come to terms with the reason for it. Part 2, the frequency of the universe. At your core, the very nature of your soul's frequency is love. I know that might sound silly, but it's true. We are all one. Oneness is unity. It's peacefulness. It's no separation. It's whole. Love is the energy of oneness because love is all. There is nothing that is not love when love is what's felt unconditionally. Therefore, the very nature of oneness is the notion that there's nothing that is not within it and of it. And love is the most unified energy imaginable because to love something or someone unconditionally means there's no way and no thing that can be separate from that. Therefore, if we are all one and if we are all unified and whole, then we all vibrate at the same frequency, the frequency of love. Therefore, you, my love, are love. At your very core, you vibrate at the frequency of love. And this is the nature of your soul's essence and the reason why you long for what you don't have. The longing you feel is a deep desire within you to remember this about you, to remember that you are one, and in knowing this, feel this within you. You long to love you unconditionally so that you can feel the oneness within you, so that you can come back to the very nature, the very essence of you, love. But this is where things get interesting because there's a very real, very big part of you that isn't ready for that quite yet. There's a very human realness inside of this earth experience that tells us not to love. It feels wrong to allow love when we don't feel that it's been earned and therefore allowed. And so there's this tug of war going on within you between the part of you that longs for who and what you are and the part of you that isn't ready or willing to let it in. And this is why you both long and feel lost. You long for this part of you that just wants to come back to love for you and from you and within you. And you feel lost because you aren't sure why you long and what you long for. You just know that you feel a deep-seated longing for something that you can't quite place. And you spend a lifetime trying to fill that void with work, with hobbies, with travel, with friends, with whatever you can figure out could possibly be the solution for this longing that you continue to feel. And sometimes seeing these things as the missing pieces and fitting them into your life works, and the longing dissipates. And sometimes it doesn't. But today, I'm here to speak to the parts of you who don't feel satisfied by these ways of comforting your pain. I'm here to explore with you why what we choose to fill our time with only works momentarily, and why so many of us come back to this void that we can't seem to fill. Because the void, my love, is love. But there's a lot of resistance to showing ourselves love because we only allow love from us to us under certain conditions. There's a real fear inside of unconditionally loving every aspect of who we are and letting the parts of us that don't feel that it's justified yet yell and scream as we do it anyway. Loving you is simply not always allowed, and it's worth exploring why. Part 3, the divine creator within. When you come to Earth as a soul, you choose your body. You choose where you'll start off and who you're going to be surrounded by because you want to have that experience. It's as simple as that. You create this paradigm to start off this experience knowing full well how it could go and choosing it anyway. But once you're inside of it, your choices don't end there. They begin. You're always choosing. You're choosing where you go, who you go there with, what you eat, what you say, what you think, and how you feel. And you make these choices according to what you've learned is appropriate for you too. We go through life learning a lot from our surroundings. We learn what to believe, what to think about who we are in the world around us. We learn what's right and what's wrong. We learn what to do or say in certain situations. And most importantly, we learn how to feel about who we are. As children, we're constantly observing and taking in the people, places, and things around us. And we're going through life and having our own experiences inside of it too. We take in all this information and create a reality in which we live and survive. We formulate opinions and make decisions according to what we think we should do and according to who we believe we would be or become inside of them. And it's different for each of us. What one person thinks is silly, another person thinks is awesome. What one person wouldn't do, another person desires to do. What you might think is insane, I might think is completely sane. We all interpret our own visions for life through the lens of which we form according to our own biases. And no two people are exactly the same in that because no two people have exactly the same life experiences. So, who's right and who's wrong? What's real and what's not? How can we determine the correct reality if we're each experiencing a slightly different one? The answer is that we aren't supposed to. We create our reality through the interpretation of our human life. We go through life and make choices and think thoughts that dictate the next choices that we make and the following thoughts we think. One affects the other, and one is being affected by the last and the next. Therefore, we're building and creating the world we live in, and we're determining the reality we experience every single minute of every single day. You may have heard the term divine creator thrown around, and that is literally it. We are all divine creators in our own right because we're divine beings experiencing this human reality, and we're creating our reality as we're experiencing it. In fact, you are never not creating your reality. You are the very byproduct of your own creation of you. You determine who you are by the thoughts you think and believe about who you are. You determine what's possible for you by doing the same thing. And you create your reality according to those thoughts. And in doing so, bring those thoughts as well as your perception of you alive as you do so. Therefore, there's no one version of you. There's only the version of you that you believe to be true. If you have the capacity to create and recreate your reality constantly and at will, then you are not you. You are your belief systems about you. And you are what you desire to create through you, too. And that begs the question, what would happen if you chose to change your reality of you? What would happen if you decided that the you that you've chosen to create until now isn't the you that you desire to be any longer? Because maybe it doesn't feel aligned anymore, or maybe you're noticing some pain and discomfort inside of it. And instead of continuing to be this version of you, you chose to create another one. In order to answer this question, we need to discuss what creation really is. To create means to think and then act. When you think a thought, you create it into existence. When you act on that thought, you create from your imagination and bring it into reality. When you do that, you're creating through you in your very image because you thought something. And what you think is a reflection of your thoughts about the world, you and everything inside of it. And then you believed in you and this thought enough to determine it was possible to create. And then you determined that through creating it, you would enjoy experiencing it. And so you set to work and you did just that. Anytime we create something, it's in our image because we're experiencing this reality in our image of who we are. Like we said earlier, there is no one reality. There is simply the reality that we deem to be real. And our thoughts about our reality were determined as a byproduct of our upbringing and life experiences inside of it. Therefore, when you create from your own imagination, you're creating in the very image of who you believe you are. You think things, you feel things, you create things with those things. Everything you do, say, and feel is of your own creation. And because you're the one creating them, you're the very divine essence of your creations. You become the creator of your reality and of you inside of it. But what if you don't enjoy what you create? And what if you don't particularly feel good inside of your reality? And what if you completely dislike and want to do away with who you are entirely? Well, if you are not you, but you are who you create as a byproduct of your belief systems about you, then wouldn't changing your belief systems about you recreate you and your reality too? If you are constantly creating you, your reality, and everything you experience within and without them, then you can recreate those things anytime you choose to. If you're experiencing a longing, and if you're feeling lost inside of you and your life, the first step to changing those experiences is identifying why they're there and what purpose they're serving. Because once you can do that, understanding how to change them becomes much easier. The thing is, we don't think and feel things in a vacuum. We choose to think and feel things for a reason. But what would be the reason for feeling lost and alone? What would be the reason for feeling afraid and upset? What would be the reason for feeling anything other than joy and peace and love? And if you are experiencing something that you don't like, how can you go about changing it? Part 4, resistance to the light within. Fear plays a big part in our experience here because without fear, we wouldn't have any reason for being. Fear provides an experience inside of which we can feel extremes. Without fear, we wouldn't have quite the same pressure. And without pressure, we wouldn't feel the meaning in survival. Fear is one of the greatest teachers you will ever have because it's showing you where you don't allow you to be you. But why wouldn't you allow you to be you? Well, you don't allow you to be you when you fear who you are. We feel fear when we don't feel love. And we don't feel love when we don't know that love is available for us. And we don't allow love to be available for us when we don't know how or desire to let it in. In our society, we've been taught that love from us to us isn't something that's allowed freely. It's only something that's earned through hard work and dedication to a lifetime that deserves it. It's so easy for many of us to be loving to others, but when it comes to loving who we are completely, wholly, and unconditionally, without any reason other than because we choose to and desire to, we don't feel comfortable doing it. We don't allow it, and we outwardly deny it. We deny of ourselves the very nature of who we are because we fear who we are. And we fear who we are when we don't know who we are. And when you don't know, you fear. It's easier to fear what isn't familiar than it is to let it in freely, because to let something in that isn't well known or understood would be opening ourselves up to potential harm. We're taught to stay closed off to who we really are because it's safer to fear than it is to love. And we feel the discomfort of this fear, mostly unconsciously, but we aren't sure what the cause of it is. So we begin searching for the cause of it, hoping to find the thing that's going to put an end to this yearning for something more that we feel but don't fully understand. And the answer to the thing that you've been searching for and seeking with every waking minute of every single day is you. Love from you to you. Not because you earned it, not because you satisfied some need or desire and can now feel comfortable showing it, but because you simply are, because you're living and breathing. And to feel love from you to you is to know you, be you, feel you, and allow you. And to do those things is to fully embody you. And embodying you fully, wholly, just as you are, is to come together within you. Oneness, the divine nature of source, consciousness, the universe itself. The journey of the soul within this human experience is one of remembering in order to feel the very essence of oneness. It's the journey in towards everything you've been searching for, but that you can and will never be satisfied by the outside world. It is the experience of forgetting and then realizing where you haven't looked yet, and of finally feeling free to feel what you couldn't or wouldn't before. But sometimes inside of this journey of forgetting and then remembering, there are parts of you who aren't ready to yet. There are parts of you that fear what it might involve, how it might feel, and what might be required of you to do so. And until those parts of you are addressed, there will always be an aspect of you holding what you've been longing for at arm's length. The following episodes will be an exploration of the desire for love and the resistance to allowing it in, and understanding why we withhold the very essence of who we are. And in doing so, create a reality that doesn't feel aligned, all the while wondering why or where we went wrong. Join us next week as we journey in to better understand your deepest pain in order to uncover where those thoughts and feelings came from, why you've chosen to experience them, and how to recreate your entire reality of you, through you, and from you, so that you can follow the light within, guiding you back home to you. If the messages here resonate with you, and if you're ready to begin witnessing, embracing, and embodying your light and accessing the divine creator within, come join my community Home. Inside of Home, you'll have access to live events, a library of meditations and somatic exercises, and an incredible community of open-hearted and like-minded people. And if you're at all unsure, it's completely free to join. So you can take all the time you need to explore what's in there, watch recordings from past events, and get a feel for what's truly available for you when you give yourself permission to come home to you. Head to the show notes to find the link to join us.